Hello, my name is Amy. Welcome back to your mat. Welcome to your practice. Today we're going to do a short class. We're going to be targeting, this is yoga for tight hips and back. So a lot of us deal with tight hips, and then that can also lead to tight lower back or upper back or just back in general being tight. So we're going to work on releasing and restoring those two areas of the body that can be troublesome for a lot of us. I am still working with my knee injury, so you might see me in a couple poses today. I'm going to be modifying a bit for my left knee here. So I will guide you along. I may have to change the pose up a little bit visually, but I will walk you through it. I would suggest one block for the ending, one of our last poses. We're going to do supported bridge with a block. I'm going to have two blocks because, again, I'm kind of modifying a bit today, so I may need them. And if you'd like to have two blocks, go ahead and grab them. So we'll get started right away. So we're gonna start lying down actually. So I'm gonna move the blocks off of the mat for a moment. And forgive me if I'm moving a little slower than usual, but this left knee, it's getting better. I'm a little over 2.5 weeks into the injury, so it's getting better, but it's still not there. We're gonna lay it all the way back. And then you're gonna straighten out the left leg. And in my case, I'm gonna straighten out partially because it's a little bit frozen up sometimes. And then you're just going to grab a hold of that right knee and pull it into your chest. So any amount in, you might still be further up. You may have it all the way in. You can close your eyes here if you like. And if you want to have that bottom leg out, that left leg out long and straight, that's fine. Breathe here and really pulling in there a bit, just to really kind of give that a nice little opening, a little stretch there before we move into the rest of our practice. And I really like to close my eyes here. It's really nice just to focus inward on this pose. So take a couple of breaths there. We're not going to rush. And as I said, I am moving a bit slower these days, so I'm definitely not going to be in a rush. I'm learning with an injury, take things slow and steady. No rushing, no pushing, no re-injuring myself. And then go ahead and release that right leg down and then do the opposite side here now. So go ahead and bend that left leg in and stretch that right leg out long on the mat and pull that left leg in any amount that works for you. You should feel a nice stretch there. And again, it's nice to close the eyes here. Taking some deep breaths there. You're welcome. If you want to add a little something, you could also roll your ankles in circles if you like here. Forgot to mention that on the first side, so, you know, you have options. Just arriving here for a moment. And then go ahead and release both feet back onto the ground. And now we're going to come all the way up. And then we're going to do a seated figure four. I'm going to turn the other way because that sun, when it does come out, is right in my eyes. So I'm trying not to have closed eyes the entire time. We're going to come into seated figure four here. And this is going to work into our hips in a nice, gentle way. And of course, you can modify this or change this up to make it a little bit more intense or less intense. So all we're going to do is we're going to start with the right leg, and we're going to take that and bring it over. So my right leg is over my left knee here. And then the intensity is depending on how far in you bring your foot. So you can have your arms way out and you can have a nice long loose figure four here. Or if you want to really get into those hips a little bit more, and again, you may be really tight and this might be plenty. So stay where you want, but you can play around with bending that left knee in a bit more and bringing those arms in a bit more. So the more you bring that in, you should feel a little bit more in that right hip there, that right outer hip. So you find what is going to work best for you here today. And another thing you can do to kind of help loosen things up, if you want to start a little bit looser, more open here, is you could just bring your legs back and forth from side to side. I'm going to minimize that for myself because this left knee doesn't like certain internal, when I turn my leg in a little bit. So I'm going to do this just a little bit carefully. But you could do that to kind of loosen yourself up and then work your way in wherever you feel is best. But really the key here with tight hips, tight back, tight anything, hamstrings, any of those things, shoulders. Really, your breath is your friend here. So the breath is going to help you loosen that up a bit. Because a lot of times when we're tight, then we tend to hold our breath, we clench, and then everything's even tighter. So if you can just let go, don't worry about how tight it is. Don't worry if your figure four looks different than mine. That's okay. But breathe there. Again, you can close your eyes so you're just really fully immersed in the pose and not paying attention to other things out around you. Although for me, I am recording on Lake Michigan here, and my view is obviously very pretty, so I'm enjoying looking around. But depending on where you are, you may want to close your eyes, or if you're outdoors, then keep them open and look around. And then go ahead and release that right foot down, and we're just going to do the other side, the same thing. So go ahead and decide where you want to be. And I'm going to carefully do this, but go ahead and bring that left foot up on top of your right knee, and keep your foot flexed the best you can. And then again, you can have this more open, and you can do a little swaying back and forth with your legs to kind of help coax them in a bit. Again, use your breath to help open things up. And then you can decide if you want to bring your arms in. You could bring just your arms in, or just your bottom foot, or both. And you should really feel that along that outer hip there on the left side now. So sometimes we do this, we can do this standing. We can also do this lying on our back where we pull our leg in. It's an alternative to pigeon. But I find this one's nice because you can really adjust how intense you want this to be, depending on how tight you might be. And again, you can continue to sway there if that works for you. Remember to breathe. The breath it's such a simple thing, but yet it's so powerful. We often forget to tune into the breath or use the breath. Such a powerful tool and ally. And then go ahead and release that leg down. And now we're going to come into all fours, and we're just going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. So if you know cat-cow, go ahead and get started. It's going to take me minutes to get to that pose. Cat-cow, you're going to inhale, arch your lower back, exhale, and round in. So just do that a few rounds at your own pace, at your own rhythm. Now we're warming up the spine here. So again, if your back is tight, a lot of times your hips are tight, your hamstrings are tight, they all kind of go in a line there. So we're going to work to loosen all of that up. Again, this is a short class, so don't expect miracles. But if you do this on a regular basis, you might start to feel things start to loosen up, shake loose a bit. Come back to a neutral spine. And then from here, we're going to step forward into a low lunge. And I'm going to modify with blocks since I'm with the knee injury. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my my left leg forward, bent here, and my left knee is down. So for you guys, I would like, if you're able to, go ahead and bend deeply into that front knee. I'm going to stay out a little bit because of my knee injury, that sometimes that can bother it. But we've got that back knee down, your front leg is bent deeply, and I am using blocks. You're welcome to just have your hands down on the mat and looking forward, coming forward into that nice low lunge. And I know that on the other side I'm going to have to keep my back knee up, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my knee up. You guys go ahead and keep your knee down. I'm just modifying for my knee here. So, and if you really want to try this, you can bring your knee up and come into this pose. But what I really would like to see you do is really come deep into that front knee with that back knee down. So we can really get into the hip flexor on that right-hand side. So breathe there, look out in front of you, close your eyes, whatever you feel is best for you. And come in as deep as you feel like. So if you need to back out too, for whatever reason, please feel free. The more that you come out, it's gonna be more into the quad than it will be into your hip flexor, but you'll still get something there. And then we're going to switch sides. So I'm just going to come through all fours to do that. So now I'm going to bring that right knee forward. And in this case, I'm going to bring my left knee off of the ground because I need to modify. But if you guys are able to, go ahead and leave that back knee, your left knee, down on the ground. and bend deeply into that front leg. So you'll have to forgive me for a bit longer. I'm going to be modifying some of the poses, so mine will look different than what you're doing. But again, back knee is down, front leg is deeply bent. You should really feel that in that left hip flexor, especially with the knee down. And then we're just going to step forward on our mat here. And this is where a block would also come in handy. So besides the last pose of the day, we have another one that could come in handy. So we're going to stand here and we're going to come into a nice forward fold, but we're going to have one leg at a time bent. And then we're going to do a bit of a twist. So I'm going to start with my left knee bent. That means my right leg is nice and straight here. So a nice deep bend in that left leg. And then you're just going to put your right hand down right underneath of your face, and then you're just going to bring that the left arm straight up toward the sky the best you can, and you're going to give yourself a little twist open here. You should really feel that down the hamstring, especially on that right hand side. Because a lot of times if the hamstrings are tight, the back is tight, and also the hips can be tight. So they're all connected. Nothing is by itself. Go ahead and bring that hand, your left hand down, and now we'll switch. So go ahead and bend into that right leg, straighten out the left, and then your left hand is coming down and your right arm is going up. And I'm gonna have to modify again with my left, so my left knee is not as straight as I would like it to be right now, but that's where it is for now. Having an injury is teaching me the fine art of patience and modifications. There's still plenty I can do. There's plenty I can't do right now, but there's plenty that I can do. And to have patience. Boy, if I didn't mention that, yes, lots of patience. And then bring that hand down. And then now from here, we're going to step back into a high lunge. So I'm going to go ahead and step back with my left leg first. And now my right leg is deeply bent here, coming forward. And then all you're going to do is we're going to come into a little side bend here. So go ahead and get your steadiness. Find that where you need to be so you can balance yourself here in this pose. And then just bring that left arm up overhead and bring it over to the right. So we're going to do a nice little, we're doing a lunge here and we're doing a little side bend. So we're working in a bit into that side body too, which is also, again, this is all connected, the lower back, the hips, the hamstrings. So stay there for a couple of breaths. I'm going to come out because this knee is bothering me a bit, but go ahead and stay in that pose for a bit longer, a couple breaths. I'll bring you out here in a moment and we'll do the other side. Take another inhale and exhale there. And then go ahead and step forward on your mat like I am. And now we're going to step back with that right foot and come into that high lunge again. So now our left leg is bent forward. And then you're going to bring that right arm up overhead. And now we're going to side bend over to the left. And you can have the left hand can be on your left leg, whatever works for you today. So we're getting a nice little side body opening, a little bonus there. And then release all that. Come up, grab your block, because we're going to now come into supported bridge. So go ahead and come down onto your back. And then we're going to come into supported bridge, and then we're going to return to that beginning pose, just to see if you notice any differences at all. So go ahead and lie back. I'm going to lie the other way because of the sun. And we're going to take the block. I'm going to have mine on its medium height. You can go with the lowest height if you like. This is medium. High might be a bit much for support for right now, but you can try that if you like. But I'm going to go with the medium height. So go ahead and lie back. Your soles of your feet are on the ground. Bring that block underneath of your sacrum there. So your lower back is off of the block the best you can. And we're here in a nice supported bridge. And we're just going to breathe here for a couple of rounds of breath. This is releasing the whole front body, the the abdomen, the front of the legs. And in a moment, we're going to repeat that first pose we did for the beginning, but we're going to use the block as an assist. Now you can always take the block out and just go back to the original what we did at the beginning of class here in a moment, or you can use the block. So just allow yourself to rest here for a moment. Eyes open or closed. And then if you are using the block and you have it on the medium height, I'm going to go ahead and turn mine down to the lowest height. Now, if you decide this is not going to work for you, please get rid of the block and then just do it without the block. So we're going to do the same thing we did at the beginning of the class. We're going to stretch that left leg out long on the mat. Mine, of course, is going to have a bend in it. So if you can get yours nice and straight and long, go for that. And then hug that right knee into your chest. So this is going to change it a bit. But this is really, I just love this across the front of the hip here, the hip flexor on that left. This is such a good pose. And it's actually good for me to stretch out my left leg that's been getting tight. And injuries are fun. They teach you the fine art of, you've got to rest, but you've also got to keep moving a bit if it's, depending on the injury, of course. In my case, I need to keep moving it a bit. Otherwise, it just freezes up on me. So take another breath there. Exhale, release both of your legs. And now we're going to stretch the long out on the mat. Both legs are out, stretched long on the mat for now. Still got the block underneath of me. And then I'm going to bend in that left knee. And now my right leg is out long on the mat. And just really feel that opening across the front of the hip there. This is a good pose to have your eyes closed. And again, if the block is just making it, or maybe it's making your back not making your back feel so great, then take the block out. Block is not, you don't have to use it. Modifying your practice for whatever's going on in your life is a key to a happy yoga practice. And then go ahead and release that back down. And if you have time, you can remove the block and you can lie back in Shavasana. I'm going to go ahead and close out the class, but if you'd like to go into Shavasana, go ahead and lie back on your mat. Looks like my sun is starting to shift on me. So thank you so much for joining me for this very short class to kind of help tight hips and lower back or the back. Hope you found it helpful. And until next time, thank you for joining.